The market has just had a pullback. What exactly is going on? In this video, we're going to dive down into the world of Bitcoin to see exactly what the market leader is doing and to see whether or not this is going to be the bottom or we should expect a deeper pullback. Guys, as we get into this video, if you do find this useful and informative, hit that like button. Really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap that bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with all that said, done, and out of the way, let's jump on down into the desktop and take a look at what is going on here with Bitcoin and to see whether or not this is the bottom and we should start seeing a bit of a reversal or whether or not we are going to be pulling back any deeper. Okay, guys, so we're going to kick things off with the weekly chart, just give you the big overview and to kind of reassure everyone that actually the structure is actually looking pretty good. So despite this kind of small pullback in the market right now, this isn't really anything to be overly concerned with. Ultimately, this structure is actually looking pretty good. So we are still following these 5 impulsive moves to the upside, okay? And this is something that we kind of can see going on in here quite nicely and neatly. Now, this basically started way back over here, actually, back in December of 2018. That seemed to be a good bottom area. We went and spiked up. This is where the bull run really should have started. Wave 2 coming in. We've got pulled back a little bit deeper than expected back in March of 2020. We can all remember what was going on back then. Then we had the good wave 3 taking us up towards that 65k area. The pullback for wave 4. A lot of people were calling this a bear market, but it was just a wave 4 correction. This took us down to as low as 28k. And then obviously we started to push back up, setting some all-time highs, right, up to $69,000. Then we're starting to see a pullback. Now, this is not a concern. We've still got a lot of progress to still make here with a good push to the upside. We're not concerned over this. As you can see, the structure of the weekly chart is still looking very, very good. Nothing moves up in straight lines, and you can see this, right? We have these natural kind of pullbacks and cool downs as we continue this growth to the upside. You can even take a look at this wave 3. You can see that there were areas where we did actually have some kind of pullback occurring. It is perfectly natural and very, very normal to see these kind of profits get taken off the table. And actually, they're following some very standard patterns in the space that you should all be aware of. So as we come down into our daily, we can see some more of the most interesting stuff kind of going on. Let me just expand this up a little bit. Okay, so here we can see obviously that pullback from 3 to 4, and then obviously continuing this growth to the upside slightly and continuing up. We've hit that 69k area and then obviously pulled back down, right? Again, this is an area that we've seen quite a few times, and ultimately, these kind of pullbacks are something that we can actually monitor and see exactly what's going on. When we take a look at it from this daily point of view, it's actually relatively quite clear that we can see what's going on here, right? Because if we actually go ahead and throw on, if I just bring this down a little bit, okay, we have basically 1, 2, we'll have this third impulsive wave, we'll have a fourth, and then we'll have a fifth, right? And basically, wave 1, wave 3, and wave 5 should be comprised of 5 waves, right? And here we can see there's 1, having 2, we'll push up for 3, we'll pull back for 4, and we'll have 5. Right, there'll be 5 impulsive moves inside of wave 3. Likewise, there will be for wave 5 and wave 1, right? You count up 5 waves. Now, on your wave 2 and wave 4, there'll be an ABC correction, right? A coming down, a B, and then a C, right? And you can see that here. So we know that we're kind of following the pattern, and it just therefore doesn't really matter too much what's going on with this recent kind of price action. We know that we're actually inside a 5th wave, and we are just experiencing one of the corrections within that wave. So it's perfectly fine to kind of see what's going on here once you understand and count the waves correctly, right? And once you kind of see it, it's kind of hard not to see it. So basically you can see good structure pushing up here, and we obviously have some interesting things going on right here. So let's actually take a look at the most recent kind of trading action here of Bitcoin to see what's going on. We had a good push to the upside, and then we started to see some corrections. Well, what's actually going on? Well, we have an A, we have a B, we have a C. Okay, so we already know there's an ABC correction here, finding 57,800 as our support line, right? We can see that just there. Okay, then we get pushed up, right? So after you have an ABC down, you usually end up with an ABC up or an impulsive move up. Okay, so here we can see that we ended up with A, B, and C, and then we push down. Now, obviously, this down wave should actually be an ABC, but you can't see it really clearly on the daily chart. It will be in there, but again, we'll then be looking for an additional ABC. So we'll just go ahead and it wouldn't be there. It would be inside here. So we need to find a different timeline on that one. It's probably within our 4 hourly. Let's check. Yeah, here you go. So if we actually go ahead, A, B, and C, and then we pushed up. Okay, we had an A, a small b, and then a c. Again, probably a different timeline for that one. Let's just go back up into our daily for a second, and then you can see what's going on most recently. So basically what we have right now is this A, this B, and this C wave. The question then becomes, are we at the bottom of our C wave correction, and should we actually be looking to push on up? I think we're getting very, very close to it. So let's actually measure this out. Okay, so an A, B, C wave are actually quite simple things, right? Basically, if we have our A, which is pushing up here, okay, it's the other way around. So it's an ABC down. So we'll just go ahead and grab that to the downside. Okay, this area, let me grab hold of the top here, so the C wave should measure the same as our A wave, right? That's usually what happens. So basically A coming down, let me grab hold of my A wave here. So A coming down, B coming up, C coming down, right? So the pain is a little bit more still to be had here. Okay, so basically, as long as our C wave is equal to our A wave, we are going to be looking pretty good, right? And basically here we can see there's about $59,500, which should be the bottom of our C wave. There's no guarantee that you actually go down to it. Sometimes the C waves actually fall short. Sometimes they overextend, right? There's good support at 58,600. That could be the area that we actually pull back down into. One of the things that we really want to make sure doesn't happen is, if I grab hold of this in a slightly different way, let me grab hold of it from here to here. One of the things that we want to make sure doesn't happen is that we come down to 57,240. This 1.382. If we go lower than that, that actually makes it an impulsive down move. Okay, so again, that would basically mean that we're looking for 5 waves down rather than just 3. We don't want that, obviously. So it's important that we acknowledge that we are looking to try to basically bring ourselves up to this this area 58K or 59,500, around that kind of area, right? So good support could be found a little bit lower than that, obviously, but this is kind of the area that we're looking for Bitcoin to kind of bottom out, which means the pain is almost over. And once this actually finishes, then we are looking for that next move to the upside, that ABC move that could again turn into an impulsive 5 wave to the upside, which would actually be forming a part of our bigger structure, okay? Because again, if we remember, if we zoom on out here, we are actually part of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inside of our 5th wave, right? So we're in that 3rd wave of our 5th wave, which would have 5 waves in itself. This is potentially the 2nd wave inside there. So again, we are looking to continue that motion to the upside. This actually could be wave 4 if we look at it from here. So it could be 1, 2, 3, although 3 would be very, very short, so that would be unusual. So I think we've still got some more growth in this. And as we continue up here, we'll have another pullback that should be steeper. So watch that one. But I do expect new all-time highs to kind of come in very, very soon, actually, because we are seem to be bottoming out on this ABC wave. We are, of course, getting down low on our stochastic RSI on this daily chart. Okay, so ultimately everything on Bitcoin kind of side of things seems to be actually, pretty good from that kind of perspective. When we jump over to the Avid.io dashboard, for those who do not know, Avid.io use artificial intelligence and machine learning to help us understand the underlying value of cryptocurrencies. There's a link in the description down below. It's completely free to use. So guys, I do urge you to just sign up and get used to seeing some of the underlying data here, because it gives you a bit more insight as to what you would normally see just from your charts, right? This gives you a bit more clarity than just, the price has moved up, the price has moved down. It shows you a bit more of what is going on in the background. Okay, so here for Bitcoin, we're a B1 rating, which means we're just south of the A-rated cryptocurrencies, which is actually pretty good, and it's holding actually quite well. The fear and greed index is also B1, so it's pretty neutral. There's not a lot of fear in the market for Bitcoin right now, which is interesting. Okay, the Sharpe ratio is probably one of the most concerning metrics right now, which is basically saying that actually exposure to Bitcoin might not be the best idea. And we can see that we actually dropped below that 50-day average, right? But we have just plateaued, as in we haven't actually dropped down any lower in the last day. Okay, so we should hopefully start to see a reversal once this bottoms out, with that Sharpe ratio actually increasing. And the Sharpe ratio does represent our risk rewards, right? So basically right now the risks outweigh the rewards. You might not necessarily want to get exposure. Now, when we take a look at the charts and we see an ABC kind of bottoming out like this, actually that's a good opportunity, in my opinion, to start to think about maybe getting some exposure into Bitcoin. But first of all, you're going to want to do is see that reversal come in and see that 5th wave. Once that that A wave comes in, you're going to get a lot more confidence. This Sharpe ratio is going to start actually being quite positive, I would have thought. And again, that fear and greed index might start to increase as well. Other than that, the 𝗕𝗓 ratio, the moving averages, the profitability, there's nothing wrong with that underlying data. It's all actually looking very, very good. The two things that are kind of, where what's holding Bitcoin's rating down a little bit is basically your neutral fear and greed index and your Sharpe ratio. These two things, I think, are going to change dramatically over the next week. So definitely want to be keeping an eye on that, because I do think that actually we're going to start seeing a huge reversal with Bitcoin. Now it's reached down into that 60k level, which obviously is completing an ABC correction wave ahead of where it goes next. So when we come back into the chart here, we can see some pretty good growth coming, some new all-time highs. Do expect us to kind of push up really strongly in the end of November, beginning of December, where maybe we'll eventually even hit that 80k level, which I think ultimately will actually trigger a lot of FOMO coming into BTC. So I'm not really going to spend too much time here on the hourly chart here, because we are still following very similar, right? We are oversold, and we are looking to bottom out on this area here. For Bitcoin. So right now we are just hovering at that 60k level. Theoretically, we can pull back down a little bit to 59.5 to complete the C wave if it were to marry the length of our A wave. Again, doesn't always have to happen that way, but it is pretty typical that you would normally see that. And then obviously I think we're off back up again to some fantastic heights with an ABC at least to the upside, but we think it's more than likely actually going to be impulsive. So once A wave comes in and we start to see that pullback for B, this is the opportunity to get in ahead of wave C or potentially wave 3, and then obviously endure 4 and 5. Okay, so I think there's a lot of fantastic things that occur here with Bitcoin. Obviously, the entire crypto market has been pulling back in line with what is going on here with Bitcoin. But again, do expect a reversal across the board once we start to see this ABC kind of come in, this old ABC get completed out. Again, a lot of retail investors are probably getting shaken out of the market. Lots of liquidations probably going on. But this is not anything unusual. We are pushing up in a really strong way. So guys, that's really what is going on when it comes to the crypto market today. Ultimately, we are just following an ABC correction with Bitcoin. It is absolutely standard stuff. There's nothing to worry about there. I am expecting a big push to the upside to kind of come in towards the end of the month, beginning of December. And again, we're going to be looking at some pretty interesting high numbers for Bitcoin, which will lead the pack and obviously start some FOMO activity as we kind of heat this bull run up and really start to kind of see some of these altcoins really pop to the upside as well. Guys, I'm going to leave the video there. If you have found it useful and informative, then do go ahead and hit that like button. Really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap that bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With this said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.